Good evening. So tonight, or today rather, I had an amazing experience with Reconstructive. So in Reconstructive, you open yourself up to the field and you work in a group dynamic where there's a possibility to live through with your body, not just in the mind, but live through with your body and through your body experientially through all the unconscious energy or material that is beyond your awareness, but that is actively alive in your life, right? So you become conscious of wholes that are part of your life that are running you unconsciously. So you integrate. And how do you integrate? By feeling through it, by understanding, not by thinking, not by rationalizing about it, by feeling. So what you do is, there's a person, right? For instance, me, and there are 4 other persons, and each person gets a role, and then they are invited to play that role. How do you do that? Just open yourself up, you stand there, you allow yourself to take up that role, and there's a dynamic without speech. The human bodies are playing out patterns that are unconscious and that correspond to the roles that are being taken. So for me, the theme that I was working with was my father. So there were people who were representing roles of me, the memory of me, and the memory of my problem. My problem was my father. So it's a very visceral experience, but it's like you're almost going in a trance state where you're just being like a tube for energy and you're experiencing everything very neutral. So the moment that the session started, I had these thoughts to strangle the guy who was playing me. So yeah, I was strangling him. Not really, but like the intention and putting my hands on his throat and going through the motion of strangling. And at this moment, I'm realizing this is how I perceive my father. And then there was a shift. It was like, my father didn't want me. So this is all from my subconscious coming up. My father didn't want me. And so he was afraid of having me. So he wanted to almost not kill me, but he was afraid of this happening, of me being there. So that was the first reaction. And then as he felt my warmth, as he felt that I was alive, like you feel like I was feeling that, like, hey, this person is alive and he's warm and he's breathing. He's like me. There was a recognition that this is someone I can relate to. I just don't have an understanding of how to relate to it or to him. So a shift occurred. And in that shift, what happened was, all of a sudden, there was like a bonding between the father and the son. Now, this is a relationship that I had never investigated for myself because I never knew my father. But in my subconscious, this is the unconscious material that's stored in there from all the stories that I've heard about my father. And now it's playing it out in a group dynamic. So collectively, we're doing conscious collective healing work by living through our body, through the unconsciousness, and getting the wisdom which is in the body. So basically I was playing my father, right? And I saw myself, and there was a kind of tightness, a hardness, an expectation for him to be good, to be right. I saw him interacting with other people, and there was just this demand, like, be straight, be straight, be straight. And I slapped the guy. I slapped the guy who played me. And he looked at me, and he shifted. And I realized the way he's behaving, that's how I'm behaving in real life. That like I saw it was my dynamics, it was my characteristics, it was my mindset, it was my my way of behavior. It was so interesting to notice that. And I went up to him and I kissed him on the lips. And he looked at me very, like he felt okay. And then I started to caress him, kiss his head, and letting him know that I'm proud of him, that he's okay. And somewhere there was this knowing, this feeling that my father was just scared to go through the process of being a father. But innately, there's a care and a deep love for the life. And there were thoughts streaming through my mind. How can I relate to this person? Who am I supposed to be? How am I supposed to behave? So it was a new experience for him as well. Now, after the session is over, the session stops, each person who played a role, they talk about how they experience, what information went through them. So each person is acting like a tube for the energy to be processed, and then they can share you. They give you context about the situation. So this is what you did. This is what you experienced. This is what your self-image from the past experienced, right? Your memory of yourself. This is what your problem, your issue. This is how it dealt with it. And this is how you, as the father, dealt with it. It was very interesting to understand that, because it's like you understand a lot of things because you see externally the unconscious material that's stored in your consciousness, like almost playing itself out. And because you witness everything playing out, there's an intuitive, almost like recognition of what needs to be done or what is apparent. And you kind of relax into it and you understand, like, human beings, and we don't have to fight, we don't have to struggle that much. We don't need this internal struggle. Because from these sessions, what I see is everyone who works, they have inner struggles. Inside of them, they have energies, energy of who I want to be, who I am, energy of the issue that I'm struggling with, right? The thing that's my problem that I cannot seem to overcome. Then there's the self-image, right? Who I've been, who I've been up till now, right? That person that's gone through all the trials and errors. You have that image, you have that memory. And then there's the father. So the father, how the father is perceived. So it's like inside of each person there are these energies, there are these images, there are these, let's say, embedded programs, unconscious programs, which are trying to express themselves, right? And by placing them outside, externalizing them, it's like writing it out. You see so clearly, like, what's right, what's not right, what's like a waste of energy, what's apparent, what's not apparent. And there's a peace that comes over you because you understand you're better. It's like after a session, when I went home, I felt, wow, I've lived through so much now, and my body is processing it. It's like I've come out wiser after the session. It's like I've lived through something very intense because the intensity goes very high. Yeah, it's really magical work because it's collective and you're doing collective healing. So this work is mainly organized by Carola Castello from the Reese Institute, and they're doing transpersonal coaching and reconstructive. And this work is really challenging, but this work will take you very deep into your conscious, and it will help you to understand the big themes in your life, the big influencers in your lives, which is father, mother, inner child, your own issues, yourself, and by experiencing all that, by externally seeing it all played out, you witness the destructivity of it, the unnecessity of it. It's not necessary. It's a really beautiful process. You like, I encourage everybody to experience this once in their lives, because you feel so empowered when you come out of a session. Not empowered in the sense like I'm powerful, but you feel so more clear about who you are, who you've been, and who you can be. Because it's like there was some shadowy thing that was functioning, but it was always unseen, and now you see this energy appear in your life. You understand how it works, why it exists. So really amazing stuff, really great stuff. This is usually done over a 2-day workshop. So on a Saturday you do a theme, and then on a Sunday you do a theme. And it's in group, it's collective, so it is working with the body. It's intense shadow work, body work, and some people do leave apparently during the sessions. Like, I'm learning now to be a facilitator, so we're going through the process of learning the techniques, the setting, how to hold the space. But honestly, I've done so much. I've done meditation, I've done psychedelics, I've done energy work, inner dance, music, breath work, whatever, massages. But here, it's like a combination of a lot of things. It's body work, it's breathing, it's energy work, it's facilitating, it's opening, it's surrender. When you surrender, what does surrender mean? It's trusting in your movement, trusting to allow yourself to make a new movement, to trust that what you are is good enough, and you follow that impulse. You go into a new step, and new steps or new movements, right, in life. That is what life is all about, because the only thing, right, that's permanent is change. Everything's always changing. If you're not changing, there's stagnation, and this life is not flourishing. So yeah, give yourself your self-worth. And through this process, you realize the self-worth that you're seeking outside validation from people, validation from your mom, from your dad, they can never give you that, because they haven't got their own self-worth. Their own self-worth was never given to them by their parents. So they cannot give you what they don't have. They can only give you what they have. And it's for you, it's up to you as an adult to realize there's a childish energy in me. There's a remnants from the past, right? And as an adult, the adult energy in you has to take care of that child. It has to integrate it. It has to give and be what the parents couldn't be and give for that child. Because then, when you're able to go through that process, you're actually able to live like in free. You're able to live your own life for yourself, not for others. Make your own decisions, create what you want. We talked today about how the process of relationships works. I'll make another video about this.